This clip of the Texas Bucket List is brought to you by Spirit of Texas Bank, Slovacek Sausage, Germania Insurance, We Rent It, and RV Source. Howdy, and welcome back to the Texas Bucket List. You know, the horny toad is symbolic here in the Lone Star State. Heck, it's even our state reptile. And over in Eastland, there's a story about a tough little toad that triumphed over time. In fact, he's become legendary. The center of Eastland, Texas, which happens to be the center of Eastland County, happened to be the center of the entire country nearly 100 years ago. It seems the story of a lizard, commonly referred to as a toad, stole the Lone Star State spotlight back in 1928, when the cornerstone of the old Eastland courthouse was removed. Rumor had it that when the courthouse was built in 1897, people remembered a horned toad being put in the void and sealed, so curious onlookers came out in droves. At least that's what Cecil Funderburg, a lifelong resident of Eastland, told us.
A crowd of about 3,000 people gathered together for the opening of the cornerstone because there were rumors that the horned toad could live for 100 years, could hibernate for 100 years, and everybody wanted to see if it was true. So after 31 years, they opened the cornerstone, and an oil man by the name of Eugene Day reached into the cornerstone and pulled out a flat, dusty horned toad, handed it to the Methodist preacher, who then handed it to the county judge, Judge Pritchard. He held it up by the hind leg for everybody to see, and all of a sudden the other hind leg started twitching. Then he took a deep breath and he puffed up like the horned toad will sometimes puff up pretty good, and the crowd just went crazy.
The lethargic lizard was nicknamed Old Rip in honor of another sleepy story, Rip Van Winkle. And wouldn't you know it, Old Rip became an overnight sensation.
They say that he got more press coverage than anyone other than Charles Lindbergh when Lindbergh flew the Atlantic, and Old Rip was the big story around the nation.
He even got a face-to-face meeting with President Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge, his nickname was Silent Cal. He didn't talk very much. And they say that Old Rip stared him down, so he made the president speak first.
Michigan J. Frog? Well, you can thank Old Rip for that one, too.
It's just a source of pride.
Every town usually has a legend of some kind.
The story always is that he lived off the bottle of whiskey and the Bible that was in there, so,
Unfortunately, the little fella's time in the outside world was short-lived, and Old Rip took an eternal nap 11 months after being freed from his Texas tomb. But today, you can still see Old Rip sitting prominently in the window of the Eastland County Courthouse.
We've got the key here for Old Rip. We'll take a stroll down here and we'll find Old Rip and get him out where you can have a look at him. So it's pretty amazing. I have people that come by here from all over the world, really, to look at Old Rip. And quite often I'll see people standing outside looking at Old Rip.
County Judge Rex Fields got us a personal visit with the frozen stiff toad.
Old Rip is a landmark for Eastland County. This is a claim to fame here that we could have a reptile that would live in a cornerstone courthouse for 31 years. It's pretty amazing.
Of course, there are those who don't jump right in when it comes to the lore of this legendary lizard. But considering they busted out Old Rip during winter, those who firmly believe say that's all the proof you need right there.
It would be next to impossible for someone to get a live horned toad in February and say, hey, this is the one that was in the cornerstone. So I think the evidence points to it being a true story. Of course, around here, we swear to it.
I believe the story. There's just too many stories around here that everybody talks about that it's got to have some truth to it.
Every year at the Chamber of Commerce banquet, they make everyone stand up and recite the Old Rip Oath, and you swear that you believe it.
So what used to be a common critter in Eastland County is now an oddity that swells the pride in the people, and in this part of our state. And you too can see the lizard with lineage and pay your respects to Old Rip.
So
Here, you can hold
Oh,
Rip.
wow, what an honor. There
Certainly.
he is.
There you go.
From presidents to TV show hosts.
There you go.
Old Rip.
Always on your bucket list right there.
There you go.
Lots of people come to see him. So.
It's part of our history. You know, it's, I think that everybody needs to know about horned toads. Since they're nearly extinct, they need to know about them.
Well, that was well worth a stop on the Texas.
Well, sure, absolutely. Now you've marked that one off.
It's amazing that people hear about it, you know, but it's great. It's just a great draw for Eastland. Keeps Eastland alive.